The Porsche Cayenne, along with the Boxster, helped bring Porsche back from the brink, breaking sales records and giving the company enough money to return to Le Mans. Now, not everybody was happy with the idea of a traditional sports car brand pushing an SUV, but over time the car cemented itself with a great mix of luxury and sport. Now entering its third generation, the 2019 Porsche Cayenne still sings the same tune. Porsche's trademark focus on dynamics might not be for everyone, but it is very evident that Porsche threw everything but the kitchen sink into this new Cayenne. And how is it? Well, let's find out. Well, it took me a little bit of time, but now I've come to the realization that I like the 2019 Cayenne more than any other Cayenne before it. It's a lot more in line with all the other late model Porsches, like the 992 Generation 911 and the new refreshed Macan. It doesn't need to shout at you, it doesn't have flashy aggressive bumpers or crazy sculpting anywhere. It's very under the radar, even in the sportier S trim of my tester. I think it just looks great, and undeniably, like, no matter what, it looks like a Porsche. Now, the interior is just as delightful in my opinion. The seating position is nice and low, and the seats themselves are supportive. They hold you in without holding you in a Joe Biden kind of way. The standard fixed glass roof adds a nice amount of airiness, and my dashboard is completely uncluttered. I love the simple layout, and with my tester's $3,750 leather interior option, everything I touch has a little cushion for the pushing. It's pretty great. I mean, there's leg and headroom for days in the back, and even behind that, the cargo space. There's tons of it. There's more than enough space for, say, a family's worth of bags for a weekend vacation, or, if you're more my speed, about a dozen bags of mulch. My only main gripe about the interior is the glass center console here. The buttons are behind it in kind of a haptic feedback, and even if you don't spec all the options, they're still there. They're just grayed out, and you can see them in direct sunlight. I mean, do I really need to be shamed every time I get into my car knowing that I couldn't afford all the options for my vehicle? It's ridiculous. And on top of that, this is an $88,000 SUV. How in the hell are two front heated seats a $530 option? Under the hood, the Cayenne S uses the same motor that's found in every other four-door S model Porsche. It's a 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6. Now in my Cayenne S, it puts out 434 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. Those are some pretty good numbers, and it feels pretty good on the road. Plenty of torque across the rev range, and when you're goosing your way up there, it makes a nice little exhaust note too. Now, it comes mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission that's a little less exciting. It's super smooth on its way up the gears, but when you're slowing down, coming to a stop, and it's decelerating and downshifting through those gears, it gets a little jumpy. Further complicating smooth stopping is the $3,490 brake option on my tester. Porsche calls it Porsche Surface Coated Brakes. Now what it is about a 100 micron layer of tungsten carbide on an iron rotor, mated to a pad of secret proprietary material. The trick is to kind of work as an in-between between iron rotors and carbon ceramics, which are pretty hardcore. And I think it works. It stops on a dime, and it does this really neat thing where as you're braking, it polishes the rotor to a mirror finish, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, again, it's just like the transmission. Low speed antics, it gets very jumpy, the brakes are really kind of hard to modulate. So if you're looking for smooth stopping, it's a little tough. There is no hiding this car's sporting pretensions. I mean, you've seen the badge on the hood, come on. The Cayenne S offers only optional air suspension, and the 3-mode adaptive dampers that come standard, well, they're pretty stiff in all 3 modes, no matter what you do. I would personally recommend leaving this thing in normal mode 95% of the time to counteract that kind of default anxious state, which isn't made any better by the fact that my tester has upsized wheels required to clear the Porsche surface-coated brakes. Honestly, like, when it comes down to it though, it's a sporty SUV. You know you're getting a sporty SUV with a Porsche. If you were looking for something with a pillow soft ride, you wouldn't be looking here. Standard on every Cayenne behind its 12.3-inch screen is the latest iteration of Porsche's PCM infotainment system, and I love it. It's fast, it's responsive, it's easy on the eyes. It's not perfect though. There are a lot of menus and sub-menus, so you will find yourself digging through a lot of dense information to get where you're going. But again, it's easy to commit to muscle memory over time, so you'll get the hang of it. And when it comes to Apple CarPlay, that is thankfully standard, but Android Auto, not here at all. Now, if that's not enough screen for you, don't worry. There are 2 more flanking the last remaining physical gauge in the cluster. On the left side, you get just a little bit of information, but on the right, you're able to swap through your trip meters, vehicle readouts for information like temperature, tire pressure, things like that, and a full navigation map. And it's all done through the two little scroll wheels here on the steering wheel, which are super easy to use. It's a great little system that adds just a bit more flexibility to the infotainment system. And when it comes time to charge, you will find 2 USBs and one 12-volt outlet in each row. Well, as for safety systems, well, I hope you brought your wallet. You get parking sensors and automatic braking standard on the Cayenne, and that's it. You want anything else? Gotta pay up. If you're looking for, let's say, a surround view camera, $1,200. Lane keep assist, $1,300. Adaptive cruise control, $2,000. And then there's Porsche's InnoDrive system, which combines ACC and LKA for kind of a single lane highway holding system. That is $300 more than both those packages combined. Safety is not cheap at Porsche. Now, Porsches aren't meant to be cheap, and the 2019 Cayenne S definitely isn't. Even with the starting price of $82,900, there's not a whole lot that comes standard. Stuff that I find on my freaking Volkswagen Golf, like keyless entry or heated seats or an auto-dimming rearview mirror. Now, with what few options this tester does have equipped, it's still a tough lump to swallow at $98,970 after destination. Yet I am still keen to recommend the 2019 Porsche Cayenne S. It has plenty of hustle, and everything from the seating position to the suspension reminds me that Porsche builds sports cars first and foremost. This one just, you know, happens to have a couple extra doors and a couple extra inches of ride height.